Actually, there is more to content creation than just creating a video, because to create a video you need so many things have to be in place. um but now, trust me, you can use anything to create a video. In fact, once you have a phone, I'm currently using my phone. It's not a big phone, it's not an iPhone, it's just a simple phone. So basically what I'm doing is that I'm recording my screen, okay, and my voice, and I'm speaking. Just that the phone has it came with already an installed recorder, but these recording apps can be downloaded, and you do perfectly what I'm doing now, you see. Because even if I never had this pre-installed recorder, I will still download and I record my screen, okay. So um at this point, I think I can just use my phone and create content, a video solving math. Once I can use my keyboard perfectly to type and explain, that is all. Because all of these things are about transmitting knowledge, and the person you're transmitting knowledge to is supposed to be supposed to appreciate what you're doing, supposed to understand what you're doing. That's the end product. So for example, if I want to, if I say, okay, x plus 1 equal to 0, find the value of x. We need to know that, okay, to find the value of x, we just have to subtract both sides. We have to subtract 1 on both sides. So on the left hand side, my x plus 1, I will remove 1. On the right hand side, I will also remove 1, right? So on the left hand side, I'll be left with x, this because 1 minus 1 is 0. On the right hand side, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. That is my value of x. You see, I'm basically using the fact that I can type to be highlighting things and explaining to you, and I'm sure you're understanding, you see. Voila. So you see, creating content, you have to think on what to do. Sometimes I'm not with my computer to set up a PowerPoint or to record my screen or whatsoever, but I am with my phone, and I can perfectly create content, and those who want to watch, they watch. Those who don't want to watch, allow it, you see. So this is just to increase the number of videos in the channel, but at least it's going to help one or two people. Anyways, um I don't know if it is that it's just because of the fact that this question was very easy to solve, and for you to understand that you actually understood. Let's try to take maybe a little challenging problem and resolve and see. Okay. All right. So let me say, let me think of a challenging problem. Let me say, determine the maximum integral value of 3x minus 4y, given that the absolute value of x is less than 2 and the absolute value of y is less than 3. That is the equation. So we are going to determine the maximum integral value of this 3x minus 4y, subjected to the constraints: the absolute value of x is strictly less than 2 and the absolute value of y is strictly less than 3. So for the solution, now integral value means whole number. All right. So what I'll do is basic inequalities. I'll begin with what I know. The absolute value of x is less than 2 if and only if negative 2 is less than x less than 2. All right. So let me just give you guys a little recall. We need to recall that the absolute value of a function, for example, f of x, less than a constant if and only if my function is between negative and positive of that constant. All right. So this is a basic recall. This is a basic recall we have to take note of. So in this case, my function is basically x and my constant is a. All right. Therefore, this is what we are going to have. That if the absolute value of x is less than 2, it means that x is between -2 and 2. Now, if you go to the expression we need to find its maximum integral value, you realize that there is a 3x. So I'll multiply all through by 3. So this means that -6, because we multiply 2 by 3, we have -6 less than 3x less than 6. That is what we have, right? So I can just call this man equation 1. Okay, so let me try to highlight it. Now let's also go to y and also talk about y. Now also we have the absolute value of y is less than 3. Now what does this mean from our basic recall? It means that -3 is less than y less than 3. Now if you go to our expression that we need to find its maximum value, there is a -4y. So I will start by multiplying all through by 4. I will have -12 less than 4y less than 12. Now we need a negative sign, so I'll multiply all through by negative. All right, and when I multiply all through by negative, my inequality signs are going to change. So here I'm going to have positive 12. Now I'm going to have greater than here -4y, then greater than again -12. All right, but this is exactly the same as -12 is less than -4y less than +12. Let me break it down. Now this first part of the inequality is saying that 12 is greater than -4y, which in turn means that -4y is less than 12. This is it. -4y is less than 12. Now the second part of the inequality is saying that -4y is greater than -12, which means that -12 is less than -4y. So you see, the transition from the second to the last step is very correct. So I can call this man equation 2. All right, I can call this man equation 2. Now it's now very easy for me to add up the two equations. So if I add up the two equations, let me just place them on the same line so that we can easily add them up. So the first equation is that 3x is between -6 and -3, and then the second one is that -4y is between -12 and +12. All right, so this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now from here, if I take equation 1 plus, plus equation 2, okay, sorry for the call, I had to pick a call. All right, so if I add equation 1 to equation 2, I'm going to have here -18. All right, because -6 plus -12 is -18, less than 3x plus -4y is equivalent to 3x minus 4y, less than 6 plus 12 is +18. All right, so this is my final response. But now the question is asking us for the maximum integral value. Now, when I say maximum, if A is the maximum of B, then we can say that B is always less than or equal to A. So B will be equal to A, all right, and at a certain point is going to be less than A. So this is just a definition of a maximum value. If A is a maximum value of B, then B will be less than or equal to A. All right, probably A is a certain number or a function as and B as well. All right, so in this case we need the maximum integral value. So let's just focus on the top on this inequality, 3x minus 4y less than 18. So 3x minus 4y less than 18, we cannot say that 18 is a maximum value, all right, because of the fact that there is no equality. You definitely be equal to your maximum value at a certain point. All right, so since we need the maximum integral, if you are strictly less than 18 and you are a whole number, then definitely you'll be less than or equal to 17. All right, because 17 is the biggest whole number that is less than 18. So if you are strictly less than 18, then you'll be less than or equal to 17, with the condition that that this 3x minus 4y is a whole exactly. So if you are strictly less than 18 and you are an integer, that is a natural number, then definitely you will be equal to 7. In fact, you 17, 16, 15 are all the whole numbers that are strictly less than 18. We have 17, 16, 15, and all the rest. But we need the maximum, all right, and the maximum is going to be 17. Therefore, the maximum, therefore, the maximum integral value of 3x minus 4y subjected to these constraints. We have the constraints: absolute value of x less than 2, absolute less than 3. So subjected to these constraints are, so the maximum integral value of 3x minus 4y subjected to these constraints are no, to this constraint is 17. That's the maximum integral value. So with this, I don't know if you have understood anything. Just look at me recording my screen, typing and explaining. So you see that definitely I'm sure you have understood something here, learned something here. So you must not, this video is actually for guys out there who are thinking content creation is something that you have to start from somewhere. You don't have, see, for example, for me, you hardly see me actually writing, doing content where my channel is a faceless channel, so I don't use the blackboard camera because I don't have, not because I don't have plenty to buy. So I will better start with how things basically use the PowerPoint thing, or I use my phone and type and explain. So if you want to start content creation, you have to start now. Nothing should limit you from starting content creation. It's very easy. You just have to learn some basic things and you dive into it. All right, so I hope you guys learn. See you guys in the next video.